All right, guys and gals. This is going to be part two of the Hayes Fire Department in Hayes, Kansas. This is a mock-up in 30,000 styrene of City Hall section. Watch this video, see how I do it. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Remember the last video I showed you the mock-up of this building. What I didn't show you and what I forgot to add on was this little piece right here. And I think that might be a stairwell for the fire department from the second floor down to the facility where the fire trucks and stuff are. So that's number one. Number two, now I told you guys that Gary Weiss did not want the city hall that goes here. But this is going to be a surprise to him because I am going to add the city hall. He has no idea I'm going to do this. This video will not be posted until the reveal. Anyhow, I cut it down by a third of the size. So I got 52 feet across here, and I think this was 116 feet lengthwise. There's also a little back here. There's also looks like a little shipping department or receiving department or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to do this because I think that this building will look a whole lot better if it has the whole entire scene. And to be honest with you, let me see. The entire width is not going to be that much, really. Let's see, where am I? Yeah. It's only going to be 7.5 inches wide. I'm pretty sure Gary can make room for that on his layout. Anyhow, with that being said, this part of the video will not be posted until it's reveal time. So with that being said, I'm going to shut this video down and we'll see how it goes from here. I'm going to start working on this and show you the products I'm going to be using for that. So stay tuned and I will be right back. All right, guys. I know what I said at the beginning of this video that I was going to go ahead and add the second building to this build. But I decided to give Gary a call and talk to him on the phone personally just to see how much room he actually has. So he told me that he has 6x6 and he sent me a picture and I said, no, Gary, that's not 6x6. I said, take a piece of paper and measure it out to 6.5 by 9.5 and put it in that spot and see if it fits. So he did that and sent me a picture back and says, yes, it does fit. Okay. The only second problem I have is in order for this to work, I have to actually flip it over. So this used to be on this side and this used to be on this side. On his layout, he's got, I don't know exactly what it is here, but he can't go any further in this direction. And back here is where he has his main line. And these are the two streets that he has already on his layout. So this is the only spot that he can put it. So I had compromised with him and I went ahead and I shrunk everything down to fit in a space that's 6.25 inches this way. And I think it's 9.25 inches lengthwise. So this is the material I'll be using. And let me show you what that is real quick, along with some other stuff that I'm going to be using. I'm using this 30,000 plain styrene for the understructure. And then on top of that, I'm going to be putting this JTT brickwork. Also, I might, let me drop some, probably one of my knives. Also, I'm going to be using some other various evergreen stuff. The channels I'm going to use for the downspouts, which is downspouts on here. The 125s, I'm not sure yet. The 176s could be used for supports. The 121s will probably be used for trim. And the 175 could be used for support. I'm not 100% sure yet on anything. Anyhow, my next step is to figure out where all the windows and doors are going to go. And I am going to be using a combination of teaching group and grant line. Now, the grant line are these guys right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but they are a modern door. Hold on. Do it this way. The top one is a door, and the bottom one is a window. So that's going to be going in this area here. And then on the this side here, we'll be going these garage doors. Tell you what, it's real hard to keep this all squared up just using tape. There'll be 2 doors here and a people door. And these are pike stuff. And then also there'll be 4 windows on this side, 2 windows back here, and 2 windows across the top here. And those will be pike stuff. Anyhow, my next step is to start measuring out all these windows and doors and get everything cut out, and we'll go from there. So with all that being said, we'll be back in a few minutes. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. All right, guys, it's time for me to start cutting windows and doors out. That's not my favorite subject on doing scratch builds, but it has to get done, so we will do it. Now, I'm going to be using these pike stuff doors. There's a garage door. They're pretty nice. They get mounted from behind. So when I cut the holes out, I have to cut them on where these bosses are right here. And that's what I have drawn out there. This is the very back wall of the City Hall. And I can't really see what's back there, so I'm doing a little improvisation. I'm putting a garage door and a people door back there. So I could use my nibbler to do the big door, but I want to see, first of all, I don't think this is, yeah, see, I think it's going to be too wide. I'm gonna try using a nibbler for the people door too, but I want to see how much my hand, this hand right here, can tolerate, and if I'll be able to cut these out normally with an X-Acto or Excel, there's a brand new blade in there. So that being said, let's give it a shot. Now remember, you can always make, I always cut my openings smaller. I could always make them bigger. So that being said, I'm going to be cutting on the inside of these lines, which will make it that much smaller. And I don't think cutting this 30 thousandths, that's why I bought the 30 thousandths, because I think it's going to be a little easier for me to work with for right now. So here we go. Try not to, when you get to the end of the project, don't push down and crash the blade onto your mat, because that'll break the point. You want the point for these jobs right here for when you do the windows and doors. All right, this one's almost through, actually. Actually, it is through. All right, we'll go ahead and do the other side now. And again, I'm going to cut on the inside of the line. You always make it bigger. Now I'm going to start putting these walls together in sections, especially on this building, because it's not going to get one full wall, and that would be the wall that butts up against the main building of the fire department. So I have to make sure that that is 100% accurate as far as sizes and stuff goes. Now we do the top here. Theoretically, that should pop out. And there you go. Now, test fit. Remember, these have to go in from the backside. See, and I'm glad that I cut it on the inside of the lines because it fits perfect. So it is a little bit short. I need to make it just a bit taller. And that door will be just fine. All right. So with that being said, the this little sanding right here. Remember, every time you make a cut on plastic, it always needs to leave some sort of a burr, and you need to take care of that. So what I'm going to do now is just trim off a very slight bit at the top so the door will fit in there. Now that wasn't too bad on my hand so far. All right, let's see if the door fits in there a little bit better now. There you go. And what I like about these, plus they come in from the back, they give you a nice trim around the doors. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the next door. And again, I will cut it on the inside of the lines and make it bigger if I have to. Excuse me. That's basically it. Sorry about that. Just getting rid of any kind of burrs that are in there. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll probably do in a time lapse. All right, guys. So that's what the back wall is going to look like. These doors, I call these utility doors. They will get painted metallic silver or chrome or whatever, but they will not be painted brown. The other doors on the building will be painted brown, and we'll see how it's all going to work out. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and continue this. Okay, feels good. All right, we'll be back shortly. All right, guys, now that I have this wall completed with openings that I need to cut, I'm going to start putting this together because I need to get this building totally square. And right now with all the tape, I just can't get it 100% square. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now, I will be putting this wall on the inside of that wall. So in other words, it'll butt up just like that. And I'll be using my magnets to hold it in place. All right. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. I'm going to try not to use any supports on the inside of this building. I may have to. I'm not 100% sure yet. But I'm using this Paula Expert. Seems to be gravitating towards this glue. I don't know why. Works about the same as the other. Now you got to remember, guys, that all of these walls that I'm building right now, they are all going to have brick on them. So, isn't that All right, and then we're going to take one and push him up against there. So that's nice and tight. All right, and let that dry. And the next wall I have to cut doors and openings is this wall here. So we're going to do that one next. So while this dries, we'll be cutting the doors out for that. And like I told you earlier, what they do with it. Oh, like I told you guys earlier, I will be using Grant Line doors and windows for that. Get that out of the way. All right, so I'm going to pause the video right now, and I will go ahead and take this thing apart here, and we'll keep on going. So when that one dries, I'm going to go ahead and attach this wall. But in the meanwhile, we're going to cut this wall out. So we'll turn this around. Put him over there. Put him over there. I'll pull my squaring up tool. Now, what I need to do is find the windows and doors. What do I do with them? Interesting. All right, but basically we're gonna do the same thing. Make sure all my burrs are gone, and just very fine nail valve. All right, a little bit more in this one. Here's why I do that, guys, so you get a real good fit when you start gluing stuff together. All right, so got this. Let me find the windows and doors. I'll go ahead and cut it out, and I'll bring you back when that is done. So stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. All right, guys, what you're looking at now are the Grant Line windows and doors that I'm going to be using for the City Hall part of this build. And they look pretty much identical, except for one difference. These are the windows, because it's got the bar that goes across here, and these are the doors that don't have a bar going across there. These are exact fit, so they have to be measured accurately, and we'll see how that's going to go. Once I get this windows in here, I can go ahead and assemble that part of the building. So that being said, let's get crack-a-lacking. Be right back. All right, guys, this is what the entranceway is going to look like. You can see the difference between the door and the window. I just have some tape behind there holding them in place. And they are an exact fit. You need to cut them perfectly. So always remember to cut small and then go bigger with file or whatever. That's what I did here. Anyhow, now that that's done, we can go ahead and start assembling this wall right here, because this guy here is kind of dry. I think I'm going to have to use some supports in this building. I'm not 100% sure yet. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get this guy attached to this guy, and then we can continue on around by putting this guy up here like that, and then this one wall in here. All right, so let's get going on that. And I'll probably do this in the timeline. All right, guys and gals, this is a look at what I've accomplished so far. As you can see, I've got in the front here, this is the City Hall part of the fire station. You can see I got the door and the window in there, but you can see here on the door is a little bit of a space right up in there. I'm going to show you how to fix that. Now, I know I told you always cut small and then you could always make it bigger. But what if you make a mistake? Well, I'm going to show you how to fix that mistake, because that door right there is a mistake. I cut the hole too big. And I did that same mistake somewhere else, and I will show you where that is and how I fixed it. Anyhow, let's turn this around. I am pushing Gary's spot that he's got for this right to the limit, because he had told me that he could only go so big. So I got this part okayed by him, the size. What I did do though is add the foundation here, which is exactly the same, but I added about a half inch to the front or 3/4 of an inch to the front. So at least you can park a vehicle in the front there. So with that being said, let me spin it around and show you the backside. All right. And now this is pretty much how his layout is going to be with the track back there and all that. Now this here is that little service area. There'll be 2 garage doors and people door there with a couple of bollards. And again, this sidewalk, it can be taken out. He does not have to use that if he doesn't have the room, but I'm going to include it with the build. Anyhow, on the back side here, on the back side here, you can see I have the garage door and the people door back there. Now, next thing I need to do on this build is, is to do the uh, doors on this one and the windows on here and the 2 doors up front here. Now, got a question for you guys. I have a choice of windows. And the windows I have are these, which are the Pike stuff, or these, which are the Tichy group. Now, these ones here look closer to what's actually in the build. The size of the window compared to the wall is like really small. I'm going to show you a picture of that, and you guys tell me what you think. And also, let me show you another picture of this. But back here, I see very, very obstructed view of stairs that come down from here. And I'm thinking, I'll show you in the picture also that right up in here somewhere, there is a door and a couple, maybe 1 or 2 windows, but there is a door up there. So I'm thinking that there is stairs that goes from here down to this roof, then across to here, and then down these stairs here as a fire escape. I don't know. I'm going to put the detail in there anyhow because I think it's going to look cool to be there, but I really can't see what it is. I can't get a good view of what's going on there. Anyhow, with all of that being said, I am going to conclude this video right now. As far as I'm going to go with this, next video will be working on this structure here with the windows and doors. And once I get that done, we'll start applying the brick and stuff like that. All right, guys, before I go, I'm going to show you how I fixed a mistake I made earlier with the garage door. I had not fixed the garage door, but I had that same problem when I was cutting the hole out for this guy right here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I take this off of here, this width should be 10 feet. And when I cut this hole out, I actually cut it at 11 feet. So I could have done this 2 different ways. I could have put a wall in here like this, and that would have taken up the space. So I'm going to put a wall in there anyhow. But for me to fill up that space, what I did was I took this this is not one, this one. This number 121 styrene strips. And what I did was I just built up. I don't want to keep picking this up because it's pretty flimsy by itself. But all I did was keep adding here until I got my 10 feet. And you can do the same. I will be doing the same thing with the door. On top of the door, I could either put it on the door or I could put it on the plastic itself, but I always just build that up until it fills up the spot. So if you make a mistake, do not panic. You can always fix away, and it's called adapt and overcome. Anyhow, with all that being said, hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, inputs, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 out.